guys, it's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news. Over the past 48 hours, we do have a lot of topics to discuss. Firstly, Bayern Munich are open to selling Joao Kimmich this summer. They made absolutely no progress on his renewal, and the player himself is open to leaving, but he'll only leave Bayern Munich for 5 clubs. Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Real Madrid, and of course, Football Club Barcelona. We'll talk about the details and the reality chance of that deal happening. We've also been linked with other pivots as well, Amadou Onana and Mats Wieffer, and we'll talk about who Deco sees as the ideal option for the pivot position in the summer. Also have an update, of course, on the futures of the two Joaos, whether Barcelona will keep them both. Jorge Mendes, of course, playing a big role in that. We have a big update on the future of Ronald Araujo. Apparently, Bayern Munich have cooled their interest, but Araujo wants to see and weigh who the new manager will be next season to make his decision. He's in no rush to make that decision. We have some rumors about Lewandowski potentially going to Atletico Madrid. We'll talk about that. We also have some updates on the kit manufacturer as well. Laporta will very soon make his decision whether or not to stay with Nike or to try and get a deal with Puma over the line. And finally, we do have some talk about Laporta really trying hard to convince Xavi to stay past this season, despite Xavi resigning at the end of January. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get the 200 likes this video. Be very much appreciated. And also, if you're new, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, before we get into the video, this video is sponsored by LU Soccer. LU Soccer is one of the most versatile replica jersey websites on the market. They have a variety of different items from different clubs, from CONCACAF, Serie A, Bundesliga, Ligue 1. They have a jersey from any country, any league, basically in the world. And of course, they do have some Barcelona merchandise. I do have here 2 items they have sent me, which I think is absolutely fantastic. One is this limited edition black kit. I believe this was a concept. It looks absolutely beautiful. Of course, it has the Spotify logo there, and also this one is what caught my eye the most. It is this kind of retro. It has the first ever badge for Barcelona in the middle there as well. It looks so sick, and they have different options very similar to this one for all different clubs and country. So what are you waiting for? Hit the top link in the description down below and check out LU Soccer today for the best prices and also the best quality. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past 48 hours. Now, we're first going to be discussing a player who has been linked heavily with Barcelona a lot, I would say, over the course just under a year. But now, like we predicted a year ago, things are going to be picking up a lot. Plettigol of Sky Germany has come out saying that Bayern Munich are prepared to sell Joao Kimmich this summer if the right offer comes in. Kimmich is not ruling out a move and is open to discussions. There is no concrete talks for a contract renewal, which is contract expires, of course, 2025 next summer. So this will be the final year of his deal. Only 5 top clubs are in consideration for Kimmich to leave Bayern Munich. Those 5 clubs are Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Real Madrid, and Barcelona. Some of the 5 mentioned clubs have already contacted the player. So let's break this down. Bayern Munich are now open to selling Kimmich. They're not really too honed in on him staying, and Kimmich is open to the idea of leaving. I think that's fair. The top 5 clubs that I mentioned. Now, Man City already have Rodri, although they have been linked with Kimmich a lot, even with Rodri in their team. Liverpool, that could be an option. Arsenal have Declan Rice, but they also have Thomas Partey, who's never fit, so I think Arsenal could be an option. Real Madrid, they have Tchouaméni, they have Camavinga. I don't think they're going to be looking at Kimmich too much, even though Kroos and Modric are going to be leaving. They have Arthur Güler as well. I think they have Mbappe and Alphonso Davies as their main priorities. And of course, Barcelona, who are desperate for midfielders. Out of the top 5 being mentioned, I would say Liverpool, Arsenal, and Barcelona are probably the 3 teams that would need Kimmich the most. But with Kimmich, again, I am not set on him as our pivot. I think he's very much a short-term signing. If he was for free, this is next summer when he's going to be a free signing. You know what? Whatever, he's free. Bring him in. He doesn't work in the pivot. Play him somewhere else. You know, he's free. Whatever. We're going to have to pay this summer. And we know that Bayern Munich get a decent fee for players with 1 year left on their deal. They got 50 million out of us for Lewandowski. They're probably going to get 50 million out of Alphonso Davies from Real Madrid. I'm expecting the same fee for Kimmich as well. Then they probably want around 50 to 60 million euros. And you can get Zubimendi for that price. I'm gonna keep saying it because that's the reality of the situation. There's better pivots out there for the same price. If Kimmich is available for maybe 40, 30 million, you can have that discussion. But when he's available for the same price as other players that Barcelona want, even Amadou Onana, for example, of Everton, I think Kimmich technically is better, but as a pivot, I'd rather have Onana if I'm being completely honest, and he's the same price as well. So if we're going to spend that much money, might as well spend it on a young midfielder who, has some sort of a trajectory. With Kimmich, he's now in his prime right now. You can get maybe 2 or 3 years out of him at the absolute most. This, to me, the profile and everything screams free agent signing. I think paying for it makes no sense whatsoever. But we'll wait and see. As you do know, Barcelona, when they get desperate, they get desperate. So I do think Barcelona will be linked with Kimmich a lot. I think the club will be interested in the player. Whether we actually pursue it or not remains to be seen. So we'll see how things turn out. But again, Joshua Kimmich could very, very likely be leaving Bayern Munich. The player's open to it. The club's open to it if, of course, the right price comes in. And Kimmich's 5 destinations includes Barcelona. Now, along with Joshua Kimmich, Barcelona have been linked with 2 other pivots as well in Mats Wieffer and Amadou Onana. This is coming in from Mateo Merito, who of course is a top source. He's come out saying that Barcelona could be asking about the situation of Mats Wieffer with Feyenoord. However, the player that Barcelona like the most for the pivot is Amadou Onana. But it's a tough deal as Everton will not let him go fairly easily. The fact that Onana is our top pivot target, honestly, really disappoints me. We need a pivot for next season to start week in, week out. And Amadou Onana, for me, he's just not that. I think, dare I say it, I'm going to say it now. Hopefully I get clipped in the future. I'd rather have Christensen in the pivot than Amadou Onana. Do you know why? They both do the same job. They are ball-winning midfielders. I'd rather give Christensen time, let him adapt to it, become better, than go and spend 60 million on Amadou Onana. When we're spending in excess of 50 million plus, especially in our financial situation, you have to analyze the player and make sure he is the right one. Amadou Onana is not. Again, I'm going to bring up the same name for the billionth time over the past year. It is Martin Zubimendi, plain and simple. If we're spending a euro over 50 million euros on any pivot, it's Martin Zubimendi. I don't care about this Negreira stuff with Real Sociedad, blah, blah, blah. Pay the release clause. Get the perfect and ideal player for the position, especially when you're paying, if we're paying the same amount for Zubimendi's release clause that we are for Onana. What the bloody hell's the point? But Barcelona see the deal difficult with Everton. Of course, they see him as a key player. Premier League money is going to be important, especially if Everton stay up, which I tell you right now they will. Sean Dyche masterclass, that's going to happen. They're going to ask for a lot of money, and also other clubs are interested in the Premier League in Onana. Wieffer is a good option. I would rather sign him for 20, 30 million than sign Onana for 50 or Kimmich for 50. I'll be completely honest with you. Good technical player. I think he fits the profile a bit more, but still not the ideal player. I think he's very much of a profile of Frankie de Jong. I think he's more so a bit box to box. He can play the pivot, maybe in a double pivot, maybe him and Frankie de Jong. I don't know. It depends on the coaches next season, whatever the case may be. I like the profile a bit more than Onana because it's more technical on the ball. He does win the ball a lot in the midfield as well. Well, Onana's more just a destroyer, gets the ball, sprays the pass, moves forward. I think in possessions where Onana really lacks, where Wieffer doesn't per se. So again, we'll wait and see on who Barcelona really target for the pivot. It's of course a number 1 priority in the summer. But right now, it's quite clear the club's number 1 target for this position right now is Amadou Onana. They see Kimmich and Wieffer as other options, but it remains to be seen who they really push for in the next few months. Now, along with the pivot, Barcelona have also been linked with some creative midfielders as well. One of them being Lazar Samardžić. Is that I believe he has his name? I don't know. I'm going to call him Lazar just for the sake of this video. Sport have come out saying that Barcelona have closely monitored Udinese's pivot Lazar. The Serbian attracts significant attention in Italy, with Napoli and Inter Milan also showing an interest. Now, I never heard of him before this report, and I looked into him. He's not a pivot. He's an attacking midfielder. So the fact that the Sport report has him as a pivot boggles my mind. He's an attacking midfielder in any of the games I've seen his positional, heat maps this season. Nowhere near the pivot whatsoever. But if the club like him, they like him. I think this is just paper talk, to be honest. I don't see any strong links with him. There's also have been links. I think these ones are a bit stronger with Franco Mastantuono, I believe is how you say his name. Mastantuono. I don't know. I'm going to call him Franco again for the sake of the video. But Joaquin Pereira from Sport, of course, number 1 source in regards to South American players coming to Barcelona, has come out saying that River Plate star Franco has renewed his contract with River Plate, showing his commitment to the club and ending all rumors on his future as of right now. But his renewal is a positive for Barcelona, as the young player can continue to grow, and at the same time, Barcelona can improve their economic situation, who as of right now would not have a chance in terms of bidding for the midfielder. Now, Fabrizio Romano has also confirmed this, that his release clause is going to be, I think, at 40 million euros, but it's going to be at 50 million euros in the last 10 days of the transfer window. Again, Franco is a creative midfielder. He's more so playing in the 8-10 position. To be honest, this could be one to look out for the future. On the other hand, Lazar makes no sense for me. I'd rather get Alex Garcia from Girona, still at a good age, knows the league, technically gifted to give it as well. He's proven it in La Liga with one of the best midfielders in La Liga over the past year or so. We can easily do a deal with Girona as well, give them Romeo, Eric Garcia, and everyone's going to be happy at the end of the day. So with Lazar, don't really see much in it. Franco could definitely be an option in the future, but I still think that Barcelona really do want to sign somewhat of a creative midfielder this summer. Again, with Pedri's injuries and Gavi, coming back from the ACL, you never know. Could come back the same, could come back completely different. We need to, strengthen that position a little bit. And I still think that Alex Garcia of Girona is still a number one priority in that regards. Now, for the beginning of the summer transfer window, of course, the main priority for Barcelona is to sort out the futures of the two Joaos. Very quick updates on their future. Of course, we went into more in-depth in the last video, but Mundo Deportivo are reporting that Joan Laporta has always liked Joao Felix as a player. This is definitely true. Even when Laporta was running for president, the two main players that he actually liked technically were Joao Felix and Dani Olmo, so I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. Barcelona will try to keep him at the club next season, either on loan or a permanent transfer for a very low fee. And we'll talk about how Barcelona can get that low fee in the departure section, so stay tuned for that. But again, the club made it very clear they're going to try and keep Joao Felix on a cheap. They will not, actually spend money on him in excess of 30 million euros. I cannot see the club doing so whatsoever, and thank God, because I agree. Although he's on track right now to have one of his best seasons in his career. I think he has 9 goals, 5 assists. His best season ever was with Atletico Madrid. He got 10 goals, 6 assists, so 16 goal contributions. Right now he has 14, so he'll have about 2 months left or so of the season, so he can definitely, have his best individual season. And even though he's not been really around the starting lineup too much consistently as well, so I think he's done all right, but I don't think he's done enough for Barcelona to really push him. I think getting him on the cheap is, of course, the best option. Now, for the other Joao Cancelo, the club are going to do whatever they can to keep him, and Joao Cancelo has been speaking in the media about his future. He's asked about playing for Benfica in the future. He said that I'm not going to rule out that question. I really want to play for Benfica again, but right now I want to stay at Barcelona for another 2 or 3 years. I'm delighted to be at Barcelona. It's a club I've always wanted to be at. After Benfica, it's a club that I love the most. Pep said that I was always a Real Madrid player, but I said that I was for Barcelona, where I've always wanted to be. So again, this man is just showing his pure love for the club. I respect it, and again, he's making it very clear that his plans to stay here for another 2 or 3 years, go to Benfica, maybe end his career over there, which fair enough to him. It's the player's desire at the end of the day. But the fact that he wants to stay for Barcelona another 2-3 years, big plus. Again, negotiations with Man City hopefully will start soon. Barcelona have already told Jorge Mendes to get over there to Man City and start negotiating, start getting the preliminary talks done and get the groundwork going already. So the two Joaos are definitely a target for Barcelona, and these are the 2 players that they can sign and get sorted out their future before the actual transfer window opens on July the 1st. In the entirety of June, all we're going to hear, I'm telling you right now for free, is going to be about the Joaos, 100%. So wait and see how things turn out in that regard. But again, the plan is to keep both. The question is, will we or not? Let's now discuss the players that have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past 48 hours. First one up is Ronald Araujo, and it is yet again Plettigol of Sky Germany. Of course, the journalist has been linking Araujo heavily to Bayern Munich over recent months. He's come out with a big bombshell saying that Ronald Araujo is still on Bayern's roster, but as of now, the club isn't planning a big money signing at center back, especially if Matthijs de Ligt, Upamecano, and Kim Min-jae all end up staying. Araujo currently is in no rush to extend his contract at Barcelona. A lot will depend on the new coach and Barcelona's financial fair play situation. So now Bayern Munich cooling their interest a little bit, and this is why I said from the get-go, it just doesn't make sense. They already have 3 or 4 elite center backs. Why would they want to spend big money on another center back on top of that? So if one of them leaves, that might definitely rekindle Bayern Munich's interest. Of course, the rumors a lot have been about De Ligt, but since Thomas Tuchel's leaving, the new coach might come in and absolutely love De Ligt, and that can definitely change some dynamics because they're going to have a new coach as well. So Bayern Munich interest is cooling. That's of course a big plus for Barcelona. A lot depending on the new coach and FFP. Makes sense as well. If I'm Araujo, would I sign a new deal before the season ends? Probably not, because I want to see who's going to become the new manager. The most important thing for Barcelona, though, is to get the talks started. Get the structure going. If you want to, get at least 90% of the contract agreed, then just wait for the new manager to be appointed. That's of course fair enough to it. But the fact that we only, talked to his agents once in like mid-February, and that's it. We're kind of moving slow with it as well. We're very slow with renewals, and that does suck a lot, especially to watch as a Barcelona fan. We do all of our renewals at the very last second, and we do them all kind of combined into one. I remember even at the beginning of the 21-22 season. We renewed, Xavi and Pedri and Ansu Fati in like the space of a month, I think it was. But anyways, we'll wait and see what happens to Araujo. But the most important thing to know is that Bayern Munich have cooled their interest a little bit. They already have top center backs. They don't want to spend, around 100 million euros on another center back. But with Araujo's future, it is dependent on the new manager and of course Barcelona, what they can offer him due to financial fair play. Now, a player's future that I would say is lingering quite a bit at this point is the future of Raphinha. Now, Sport have come out saying that Raphinha does not want to leave Barcelona, but his future will depend on the club's economic situation. We touched, of course, on the last video how Saudi Arabia had bid around 80 million euros for Raphinha. They kind of put that offer on the table for Barcelona. The issue of selling Raphinha or finding a suitor for him this summer will not be the problem. The problem will be Barcelona's decision, whether they decide to sell him or not. Again, the report says this future will depend on the club's economic situation. So if we need money, he probably will be one of the first to be sacrificed. If we don't need money, he might end up staying. Of course, the player loves Barcelona. He wants to stay, I'm pretty sure. I mean, he's rocking up in Barcelona gear all the time. He's got his kids decked out in Barcelona gear. When he got the number 11, he's wearing the kit, apparently according to his wife, for about 4 days or 5 days in a row in the house. The love is definitely there. He shows it on the pitch as well. I don't think Raphinha has been so poor to the point that we should be forced selling him. But if we need money, I think he definitely is one of the first players on that list. I'd rather sell Raphinha over Koundé. I'd rather sell, honestly, Raphinha over Christensen. I'd rather sell Raphinha over Araujo. I'd rather sell Raphinha over Frankie de Jong. He is the first player that I'd put in the chopping block if Barcelona need a big sale. 80 million, 90 million from Saudi, you take that for Raphinha every single day of the week. I think he's more so valued at around 70. I think we can sell him. I think if we're to a decent club where he wants to maybe compete, like a Newcastle or something like that in the Premier League, I think you can definitely squeeze at least 70 million for him, just try to get a little bit over what we paid for. But if Saudi Arabia are offering right now 80 million, imagine what happens in the summer if Raphinha maybe makes his interest well known. So wait and see what happens with Raphinha. But again, the decision is all in the hands of the club, and they're still undecided as of today. Now, the craziest rumor over the past 24 hours has been about Lewandowski and Atletico Madrid. TV3 have come out saying that we have to be careful this summer between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid regarding Lewandowski. And I talked about in the Joao Felix section that I have something to say about the departure and how we can get Joao Felix for a low amount. And it could be sending Lewandowski the other way. This is a very, very interesting report. According to the report, they've said that Barcelona are thinking about giving Lewandowski for free to Atletico Madrid in return to getting Joao Felix for free as well. Essentially, order Joao Felix for a very, very, very, very low price. They kind of want to do a Suarez deal in regards to Lewandowski, so give them to Atletico Madrid for free, but a lot of variables included in like goals and stuff like that they can end up paying. It's a very, very interesting topic. I honestly, where I sit on it, I don't mind. Listen. Tranquilo. Profile-wise, this is a dreadful operation. I mean, my God, you're talking about a clinical striker and a creative forward. I'd rather have Lewandowski at Barcelona next season than Joao Felix, 100%. The main reason why I'm open to this a little bit is because of his wages. Lewandowski next season is going to be sat on 300,000 euros per week net, which means right in his pocket. He's not worth that. To get rid of his wages, to bring in a young player like Joao Felix, who will be on relatively way lower wages, he's a good player. He had a year at Barcelona to integrate. He's of course very, very young as well. It could explode into something even bigger in the future. I'm not too opposed to it. I think in terms of, again, the profile, it is a dreadful operation. But if you told me you give Lewandowski to Atletico Madrid for free, you get Joao Felix in return for free, I would consider it, because unless Lewandowski tells me, look, I'll stay on lower wages, and I'll say Atletico Madrid, you can go bin yourselves. But I don't think Lewandowski himself would be open to this move as well, per se. But I don't know. It's an interesting topic. Again, there's nothing really advanced, but the reporter does say that once Barcelona and Atletico Madrid start negotiating, they tend to reach an agreement. And he's not wrong. I mean, we've seen it so many times. David Villa, Suarez, Memphis, I'm forgetting off the top of my head. I mean, like Griezmann. I mean, it's very, very clear. Remember in January we started negotiating with Atletico Madrid at the beginning. We then called it off. And then 2 days later, the deal was done. I mean, he brings a fantastic point. Once Barcelona and Atletico Madrid start talking, we always tend to reach an agreement. So wait and see. Keep your eyes on this. Nothing crazy. Just the spark of it. There's nothing really into the core. But keep your eyes on this. Think about it. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. But we could see Lewandowski and Atletico Madrid shirt next season. But the player that will 100% leave Barcelona this summer is, of course, Marcos Alonso, as his contract will expire and Barcelona have no intentions of renewing it. Having been given from AES came out saying that Marcos Alonso's future is definitely outside of Barcelona. He's a player that brought in the biggest disappointment from the summer of 2022 deals, playing only 299 minutes in 7 games, the least among all the players. Again, the biggest mistake of this Laporta tenure has been awarding him a new contract after last season. Well, that was agreed beforehand or not, like, oh, I'll stay if you give me a 2-year deal, and we just kind of have to break it up for FFP. I still think at the time it was a dreadful decision. We should have just gone back on it. I don't care. We gave you your word. You're Marcos Alonso. Who are you? You're not Mbappe. You're not Neymar. You're not Messi. You know, well, who cares? Who cares? But we ended up doing it, and we'll see what he does in these last few months. I mean, he's had some memorable moments, Alonso. Definitely that masterclass away at the Bernabeu. We'll not forget in the cup, even though we got knocked out in the end. That was a great display. Him scoring against United after his father passed away. Very, very nice touch there. But that's it. I think he scored in the derby against Espanyol, but we ended up drawing the game at the Camp Nou right after the Christmas break last season. But that's it. So, sayonara. We'll not miss you. When I say you're a good servant, not really. You barely served us at all, especially this season with all the injuries and stuff that you've suffered. But game is game. And again, Marcos Alonso is going to leave at the end of the season. Let's now take a look at some of the injury updates around the first team at Barcelona. Firstly, on Andreas Christensen, some good news. He has pulled out of Danish international duty. He will not be part of the Danish squad for the upcoming break due to a minor injury, and he'll have the whole entire 2 weeks of rest. Of course, he's not actually injured per se, minor discomfort, but he decided not to take any risk, and thank God for that. We were hoping for this, especially after not playing against Atletico Madrid on Sunday, and we've gotten the confirmation now. So Christensen, great news. Full 2 weeks of rest. Hopefully he can recuperate, get rid of this little minor discomfort, and be ready for Las Palmas and put that push, of course, in the Champions League quarterfinal. Other Barcelona players as well will be rested during the international break, and the 2 Joaos are on that list as well. According to Alex Pentel from Relevo, Joao Cancelo and Joao Felix will not play in the friendly game against Sweden on Thursday. They will join for the second game against Slovenia. So they will be playing, of course, tomorrow. That's a good thing. They'll have a little week off before they play against Slovenia. Again, little rest, but we will absolutely take it for sure. But one player who Barcelona are a bit worried about and cannot afford an injury to is, of course, probably the most influential player at Barcelona right now over the past month, İlkay Gündoğan. Sport have come out saying that Barcelona are a bit worried about Gündoğan because he's training a lot of minutes, and they fear that he'll also have an important role with the German international duty during the next few weeks. Xavi hasn't been able to rest him because of the injuries in the midfield. He is the German captain, if I'm not mistaken. I think Nagelsmann confirmed that he's like the official captain, even though he was minor. He was kind of like the sub-captain because Neuer was out, and Neuer's come back. He said, no, but I'm going to keep Gündoğan as the captain. He's going to play both games, I'm pretty sure, which is going to be terrible. If he does play both games, we cannot, I think Xavi literally has to rest him for Las Palmas. Either way, he has to get some sort of rest, whether it's going to be for Germany, whether it's going to be for Barcelona. It has to come at this point, especially right now when we're reaching crunch time of the season. You cannot afford your key players to get injured. I'm not only worried about Gündoğan, I'm also worried about Koundé. Koundé's played every single minute of 2024. Gündoğan, I think he was rested for one game. Was it Granada where he came on like at the hour mark? So he was rested like once for an hour. That was it. But it's criminal amount of minutes, even for Lewandowski as well. That's something to keep note of as well. So we'll wait and see with Gündoğan. Again, the club are going to keep very cautious on him, especially when he returns from international break as well, as he's one to watch to try our best not to get any injuries. I think he's one of the only players as well who's not going to injure this season. I think him, Fermin Lopez, and Naki Peña are the only 3 first team players who have not had any injury whatsoever this season, and hopefully it stays that way. Now, despite the immediate injury problems that we do, of course, have, Barcelona also have one eye on the future for potential injuries, and that's, of course, in regards to the summer having the Euros and the Olympics, and the Barcelona are worried that their players will be overused to heck. Sport have come out saying that RFEF values the safety of its players, especially Yamal and Cubarsi, and will not force them to participate in the summer tournaments. Once the European Championship is over, the situation will be evaluated, and the players who have played too many minutes will not play at the Olympics. So when we first saw this, great news. I think Yamal could potentially be starter for Spain at the Euros. I don't think Cubarsi will, but if he continues his current form, especially when we by the end of the season, you never know. But following this report, Ferran Martinez of Mundo Deportivo came out with some disappointing news, I have to say. He came out saying that men's Olympic football team will know their opponents for Paris 2024 today. Players under the age of 23 can participate, which applies to Yamal and Pau Cubarsi. In Spain, by law, if a player is called up for international duty, they are obliged to go. This law applies to the Olympic team, which has concerns for Barcelona recalling Pedri's situation in 2021, where he attended both the Euros and the Olympics. The RFEF will not give into any actions taken by the clubs, as they will give the players the final say. If the player gives the okay to participate in both the tournaments, they will call up regardless of what the clubs say. If Yamal and Pau Cubarsi participate in both Olympics, both will have hardly any vacation, as the Olympic lasts until August the 10th, in which Barcelona will have returned already from the US tour and damn near start preseasons. Start La Liga. So again, we already knew this. If they play in both tournaments, they ain't coming back for the start of La Liga. And we already knew this as well, that it's going to be in the players' hands as well. I'm a bit worried. Because they're going to be like, oh, I want to play. We can possibly win gold medal. You know, it's going to be great. I'm more so worried about their participation in the Euros. If they both play a lot, then they're going to get called up. They're going to get called up to the Olympics. So 100% they're going to get called up to the Olympics. I have no doubt in my mind. But this Pedri 2021 circumstances is really, having a weight not only on Barcelona, not only Spain, but also the players. They will know that Pedri played in 2021 both Olympics and he's not looked the same since, and they probably don't want that for their careers as well. But if you told me right now, would I waste my career over for an Olympic gold medal? I mean, probably. But if they don't win, it's going to absolutely suck balls, because again, Pedri didn't win in 2021. He got silver. They lost in the final. I forget to who. Was it like Germany or Brazil? Something like that, but I am a bit worried. But again, it depends on their participation for me in the Euros. Do I think Lamine Yamal can be a starter? Yes. Do I think Cubarsi can be a starter for Spain in the Euros? Yes. Will they, though, is the big question. So that's going to be the deciding factor, in my opinion. But again, at this point, the bad news is out of the hands of Barcelona, with the good news that it's in the hands of the players, which Barcelona can somewhat try their best and convince. So we'll have to wait and see how things turn out. But a worrying sign for Barcelona this summer, as we could see players, playing up until August the 10th and not getting any vacation whatsoever, especially with the start of the La Liga season happening during that moment. But it's something to watch for definitely during the summer. Now, on the topic of preseason, our preseason tour was confirmed yesterday by the club. We will be going back to America for 2024 as predicted, and our three opponents are Manchester City, Clásico against Real Madrid, and AC Milan. The Man City game was taking place on July the 30th in Orlando, Real Madrid on August the 3rd in New York, and then Milan on August the 6th in Baltimore. Now, following these three games, we will of course have the Joan Gamper, and then La Liga will start. So 4 preseason games pretty much confirmed. Of course, our Joan Gamper opponent has not been confirmed yet, but the preseason has been. We're going to go back to the US for the 3rd year in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Good opponents. Again, it's going to really, hype up the fitness and match rhythm. And at the Clásico, again, we're undefeated, of course, in Clásicos outside of Spain. And on these tours, we've never lost one. And hopefully that streak does continue. But again, US, the market's going to be great there. Income-wise from this game is going to be absolutely sensational. 3 top opponents really get us prepared for the preseason. Of course, followed by the Joan Gamper. Now, the hottest topic around Barcelona over the past few months has been the news about the kit manufacturer. And we do have some big updates on that decision. Firstly, Mundo Deportivo came out saying that the Barcelona board met yesterday to discuss what to do with the kit manufacturing process: stay with Nike, sign with Puma, or create the club's own brand. The final decision will be made in the next board meeting. When the next board meeting is, I have no idea. I would assume it'd be at some point before the end of this month, but that means that the decision is coming fairly soon. Now, also, Franco Sport has come out saying that Barcelona does not want to rush the decision to break up with a contract with Nike, and is studying the contract of Nike in detail, thinking about the economic consequences that it would have. Breaking up amicably would be the best thing for Barcelona, although the club knows that it's an unlikely option. In the event of legislation, the final decision will be influenced by the fact that the board of directors will have to provide a significant amount of money, which would be detrimental in the entirety of the budget. In no case, whatever the decision, is the production of the shirt for next season at risk. Again, 100% our next season kit that we're going to wear, of course, on the tour is going to be Nike kit. It's going to be manufactured by Nike. We've already seen the pictures of all the kits. They're going to be very, very sexy kits, I might add. This decision is still very, very big. I'm kind of surprised it's dragged on a bit long. I think in the end, like I said a million times, I think we're going to stay with Nike. I think the contract is just too big, too extraordinary to break up, even though Puma are offering us one of the biggest kit sponsors in the world right now. And Nike, by the way, are underpaying us to shite. Like, holy crap. I think they gave us 80 million fixed plus like 50 in variables, where Puma are offering us 120 million fixed with 50 in variables plus 100 million sign-on bonus. They're offering us, that's like the club offering me a contract on 100K a week to sit in the Camp Nou and watch the games. Like, it is a ridiculous offer. Like, it is crazy. And that's why the club are really worried about it, because they don't want that offer to slip away when they have this crappy deal with Nike, which they can get out of. I think in the end, we're going to stick with Nike. I think the best thing to do for Barcelona is probably just try and get a better deal from Nike. That's all we can really do. I think Nike can't really afford to lose us either, but they're in the big driving seat here, because we're locked in until 2027 at least. And to break the contract, you have to provide, I think, 300 million euros to Nike, which the club, of course, I mean, we have it, but spending that on Nike is just stupid beyond belief. And also when we're kind of, not really strong financially, doing that is just idiotic. So we'll wait and see how things turn out. I think again, I'm going to say it again, I think we're going to end up staying with Nike, but the main decision from Laporta will be coming soon. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss before I end off this video is in regards to our manager, Xavi Hernandez. Now, quickly, on his red card against Atletico Madrid, Sport have come out saying that Barcelona will find an appeal for Xavi's explosion, despite initially deeming it a waste of time. The club has not intended to contest the red card shown by Jose Maria Sanchez Martinez, but they now will appeal to overturn it and have the yellow card rescinded. I'm still unclear whether or not Xavi got a second yellow red or a straight red. But apparently, if Xavi doesn't get this appeal overturned, he'll be suspended for 2 or 3 games. Now, if he's suspended for 3 games, he's going to miss a Clásico, which of course the club do not want. I don't think Xavi wants either. We have Las Palmas, Cádiz, then Clásico. He's 1,000% not going to be there for Las Palmas. The question is, will he be there for Cádiz or not, or all Clásico? Honestly, anything just but a 3-game ban, I'll take at this point. So we'll have to wait and see how the appeal turns out. Of course, we're not going to win the appeal. It just comes down to what that final referee report and decision is from the Spanish Federation, whether they give Xavi a 2-match ban or a 3-match ban. But in regards to Xavi's future, things are very much heating up. Sport have come out saying that Barcelona are delaying the decision on their new head coach. Now, if you were watching these transfer videos a lot, you would have noticed that over the past 4 or 5 transfer videos over the past 2 weeks, I've not talked about any manager, because we have not been linked with any manager for this reason. They'll wait until after the Champions League outcome before making a final choice. The possibility of Xavi staying is still open, but it will depend on results and of course how the season ends. Also, Sport came out saying that if Barcelona qualify for the Champions League semi-finals, Laporta will try and convince Xavi to stay at the club. What's really turning my head a little bit is that, of course, every single press conference, Xavi is asked, are you going to stay? Are you going to leave? From when he resigned against Villarreal until about the beginning of March, he said, yes, I'm leaving 100%. We could win the quadruple, even though the quadruple is not possible, and I still leave the club at the end of the season. But since March hit and we're playing well, we're getting results, he was asked these questions, as he is routinely, and he said, and he keeps on saying, for now, no. For now, no. Bloody hell. I will say this, though. I am very confident that Xavi will not stay. I think Xavi is someone who's very honest. He sticks to his morals. If he wants to leave, he's going to leave. He was asked when he resigned in January, if you win the Champions League and La Liga, will you stay? If you just win La Liga or the Champions League, will you end up staying? And he said, no, that will not change anything. I personally think from Xavi's perspective, it's way better to leave on a high with the Champions League than, win the Champions League and stay. From the club's perspective, though, I 100% agree with them. Try to, keep Xavi by any means necessary. The options that are available are not that great, if we're being honest. I'd rather have Xavi than Hansi Flick. I'd rather have Xavi than De Zerbi. I'd rather have Xavi than Thomas Tuchel. If Arteta's available, I'll take him. If, Pep's available, I'll take him. If Luis Enrique is available, I'll take him. If Klopp wasn't taking a sabbatical, I would take him. But the options that we're talking to, in my opinion, are not a big upgrade on Xavi. They're either on the same level or underneath. So, I completely understand the club, but we'll have to wait and see. It all depends on what happens. We can dream. I don't think he's going to stay. I think, again, we could win the Champions League against Real Madrid in the final. I think he'll still walk, to be honest. The club will try to do their best to convince him. I have no doubt about that. Even Deco's been saying a lot in the media recently, look, we're going to do our best to try and keep him, and we want him to stay. We never sacked him, all this stuff. So, we'll wait and see how things turn out, as Barcelona are really plotting to try and convince Xavi to stay, despite him resigning at the end of January. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and of course, leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. But the main thing I want to first see, of course, is your thoughts on Joao Kimmich. You think we should pursue the signing of Kimmich? You think he's the right profile? How much would you spend on him? Second, your thoughts on those other pivot options in Mats Wieffer, Amadou Onana, and who would be your ideal target for the pivot position? Your thoughts on the two Joaos staying or not? I think one of them will stay, both of them will stay, neither of them will stay. Thirdly, your thoughts on the future of Araujo. You think he'll end up staying at Barcelona, renewing his contract, and the Bayern Munich interest will come back up once the summer hits? And find your thoughts on that story about Lewandowski going to Atletico Madrid and maybe Joao Felix coming the other way as well. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.
Yeah.